My name is Rebecca Conroy and I'm a beekeeper, and this is Building My Veggie Garden.
Welcome to a special episode about bees and pollination with our special guest, Rebecca Conroy. In the past few months, we have come across the question if we can build a veggie garden in a backyard that's been treated with insecticides, fungicides, and herbicides. While these chemicals do their job killing the insects not wanted in the garden, they also halt the growth of our veggies because they kill the insects that are necessary for our veggies to grow. And when our garden is not a friendly place for these insects, they will not come to our garden. Who are these insects? They are called pollinators. But before we talk about pollinators, let's take a trip around the parts of the flower and their role in plant multiplication. Plants have their reproductive parts in the flowers. The job of the reproductive organs are to produce seeds inside the fruit of the plant because seeds are how plants can reproduce or multiply. The reproductive parts of the plant can be male or female. Stamen is the male organ of the flower. It has two parts. 1. Anther is the head of the stamen and producer or pollen. 2. Filament is the stalk that holds the anther and attaches to the flower. The pistil is the female organ of the flower and it has 4 parts. 1. The stigma is the head of the pistil and receiver of the pollen. 2. Style is the stalk of the pistil. 3. Ovary is the base of the pistil and holder of the ovules. 4. The ovules are the flower's eggs inside the ovary. When they are fertilized or pollinated with pollen, they become seeds. In brief, the male parts of the flower are called stamen, and the female parts are called pistil. Now let's take a look at pollen. What is pollen? Pollen is a powder made of microscopic pollen grains produced by the male parts of a flower, stamen. The mission of the pollen is to get to the female part of the flower, pistil, and pollinate or fertilize the ovules in the pistil's ovary. When the pollen reaches the ovules and they get pollinated, the flower produces fruit and seeds inside the fruit. The seeds are the element plants use to reproduce or multiply. What is pollination? The traveling or transferring of the pollen grains from the male part of the plant, stamen, to the female part of the plant, pistil, is called pollination. Most plants cannot pollinate themselves because pollen grains cannot move by themselves. When there is no pollination, the plants do not produce fruit, and if there's no fruit, there is no seed. If there's no seed, there is no reproduction of plants. If there is no reproduction of plants, all people on Earth will have a very hard time finding food because 1 out of 3 bites we eat are possible because of pollination. So, what do plants do to get pollinated? They require the help of pollinators. Pollinator is anything that will help the pollen grains go from the stamen to the pistil. The pollinators that help carry the pollen from flower to flower are insects, birds, bats, and the wind. The insect pollinators are bees, butterflies, moths, wasps, and beetles. And out of these insects, there is one that works tirelessly to pollinate. Who is it? According to the U.S. Forest Service, bees are the champion of pollinators. There are over 4,000 species of native bees in the U.S. and over 20,000 species worldwide. Native bees or wild bees are fuzzy, yellow and black, metallic green, metallic blue, red, and black. They can live in the mud, in hollow trees, underground, and are solitary. Most of them do not live in colonies or produce honey. The most well-known bee is the domesticated western honeybee. They are not native to North America. It is believed that they originated in Asia and migrated naturally to Europe. They were imported from Europe into the U.S. in the 17th century. They are the social bees that we know that live in hives created mainly by humans, and many farmers use them because they help pollinate many crops like fruits, vegetables, and nuts. Why are bees important? 85% of plants exist thanks to bees. That includes the veggies you are trying to grow in your garden. 1 out of 3 bites of food we eat are possible because of bees and pollinators. Bees help farmers by pollinating over 100 crops. That includes grains, fruit, and vegetables you see at the market. The bees' help is estimated to be up to 91 billion annually. Bees are so fascinating and important for our veggie garden. This is why we invited Rebecca Conroy, a beekeeper, to tell us about bees and how they impact our veggie garden.
I'm Rebecca Conroy. I'm a beekeeper right here in St. Petersburg, and I've been doing it since about 2006. In college, I was a chemistry major. I did a project on honey, and I met a local beekeeper, and then I just realized that you could do it in your backyard. So it sort of snowballed from there. There was a local club, and so I could go and experience being inside a beehive, and it's just sort of, you fall in love with them, even though they're just a bug. It happens to a lot of people. Honeybees are special in a few ways. One is they have really large colonies, so they have quite a large workforce basically to go out and do pollination, and that's their role that's their ecological role, is to spread pollen between flowers so that you get good fruit. And so they're also, many, even most insects are specific to certain kinds of plants, whereas bees go to many kinds of plants. So you can kind of put them anywhere and they will find plants to pollinate. So that's one sort of unique role that they play, is that they'll pollinate everything around. And you can't, many fruits and vegetables don't do well without some kind of insect pollination. An apiary is just a place where you keep bees. Whereas a hive is one unit of bees. In every hive there's one queen, there's all the generations of babies, and there's the honey. That's their house. In Florida, we keep bees differently than the northern beekeepers because we don't have those cold winters. So in Florida, we usually set up our boxes with one large box, which is called the brood box. And that is where the queen is and where the babies are. Then the next box is called the feed super, which means it's always full of honey for the bees. We don't take any honey from this box. Sometimes they eat it, and there's less than a full super there. And the super just means the box. And then any box above that, when that gets full of honey, that's what we can harvest. That's extra honey. And bees have lived with humans for a very long time, so they make us extra honey. So the smoke is just to cover, the bees communicate by pheromone, by smell. So smoke can cover up a smell if there's an alarm pheromone. If a bee gets alarmed by something, she'll send out a smell to alert the other bees that there's a problem. And so the smoke covers that up. So, and that smell smells like the fake banana smell. Not necessarily a real banana, but like banana gum or something. So if you ever smell that, you've got a bee near you, very like on your face, that has released an alarm pheromone. So the bees actually stick the lid down with the stuff I mentioned before, that's propolis. So you need this hive tool, which is basically a small crowbar, to get inside. And here, this sticky stuff here is the propolis. And they use that not only as medicine, but kind of also as duct tape. They use it for everything. They stick things together with it, they build walls with it. So this is the extra super where they put food that we can, honey that we can take. So I'll just see if they have anything in here. Oh yeah, there's some honey in here. You can tell because it's heavy. And so that's all nectar that's being turned into honey. Nectar comes into the hive at 80% water. Once the bees dry it, they put a little cap over it. They dry it by flapping their wings and actually having air flow through until the extra water evaporates, and then they put a little cap over it. So this is actually honey right here because it's done and ready. And that only has 18 to 20% water. So they have all of this nectar. Once it's evaporated, it could take up a much smaller amount of space. We'll go down below and see if we can find some baby bees.
Bees are amazing. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. But we invite you to check out the next episode, where we discover if Rebecca was able to find some baby bees for us to see. Thank you for tuning in. For more information about Rebecca, please visit her social media and website. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you again for watching, and remember, keep fighting the battle of the veggies. Until next time!